go with the countdown. Here we go. Bam. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. Rap Sheet Podcast is back at you for this lovely Thursday afternoon. Before we get into it, I just want to let everyone know I just got the advance from P-Rock and Common. I just heard the new album over the last hour and a half. Amazing. I gotta send you a copy of this, bro. You're gonna love this. If you unless you already have it, which you probably do. But if you don't, I'm gonna send it to you, bro. You're gonna love this album. This album is amazing.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so far it's great.
Yeah. Oh, totally dope. Ladies and gentlemen, for those that love the live show experience, it is one thing to hear your favorite artist drop an album or a remix album or whatever the case may be, but to see your favorite artist live and just really bring it home is always such a memorable time for me. And this man right here, not only has he been responsible for some of my favorite live concert moments, I damn near got to host every last one of them, just about. This man is celebrating 20 years of excellence, hard work, dedication, and really staying true to the culture. And for anyone that has an issue with what I'm about to say, I don't give a fuck what skin color you are. I don't care where you come from, what your economic status is, what your orientation is, what your faith and spiritualism is. If you love the culture and you really want people to experience what the culture really is, I ride with you from the front to the back. And this man and I have known each other for so long. When he used to work in the Prudential Mall selling cell phones way back in the day.
Wow. You brought that back.
I remember that wholeheartedly. He has lived a sobriety-free life for well over 10 plus years. And he's truly embodied what it means to be a promoter and really care about the art form and catering to all ages and musical genres. If you don't know who I'm talking about, and you should by now, especially if you're in the Massachusetts area, ladies and gentlemen, celebrating 20 years of excellence, we got my man Ned Welberry, Leedz Edutainment CEO, is in the building one time, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Yes. Good afternoon, sir. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Good to see you, as always.
This is your second time being on the show.
Yeah.
The first time was really letting everyone know your history and how you became who you became. For this one, I just really wanted to celebrate 20 years of great moments that you have had as a concert promoter. But before we get into that, just for people who are not familiar with you, how did you get into the concert game, and what was your love to really bring shows of high magnitude to the Massachusetts area and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in New England raised, was living in New Hampshire at the time, and went to go see, someone told me J. Rue the Damage. I was going to this place called the Middle East. And this is around 99, 2000. And we all got in the car, went down to this place, and went into the Middle East, and J. Rue the Damage was performing. And I'm like, well, what is this place? Because before that, I'd only been to gigantic concerts. I had seen Providence Civic Center, the DCU, the Palladium, stuff like that. So to go into a small little club compared to those places, this was something new. And went to see that show, then which was sold out. It was crazy, great time. And then later I went to go see Afuran, Crumb Snatcher, and then, I moved to Boston and went to Northeastern again in the music business. And then I just started interning with Metro Concepts, which was throwing some of these shows.
Right.
And they just showed me the ropes, man. And then all the promoters at that time quit. And I decided I'd give it a shot. Here I am 20 years later. So that's how it happened.
Absolutely. You are also responsible for putting a lot of local rappers on. And we talked about this in the past many times. Even as an artist myself, when I would do shows under your moniker and everything, you made it real important for local artists to sell their own tickets. And there was a lot of artists that had a real issue with that. Even
It's
to this day.
it's a controversial topic. It's definitely controversial. You're either on one side of it or another.
I mean, if you have the fan base like a Mo Pope or Ed OG, or even if you don't not as big as them, but still got 50 or 60 people that ride for you, you can easily make 60 sales and make some good money off it and perform in front of an audience of new people that have never heard of you. When you were confronted a local rapper who's going to be on the show and you told them that and you got a negative response, or what were the responses you got from some of the rappers that weren't already established, like an Acro or Esoteric or Mr. Liberal and so on?
No one liked it in the
Okay.
beginning. No one really liked it. And the only reason I did it was out of necessity because the shows weren't financially doing what they were supposed to be, what I needed them to do.
Right.
So those opening slots, I needed to be guaranteed people in the building. That's the only reason I did it. You know, there were tons of artists that, you know, had established fan base and opened up and didn't have to do tickets. And there was ones that had to sell tickets and there was ones that just got paid straight up. So, I mean, it was a different scenario. But as far as the ticket selling thing, it was always a controversial topic. I didn't love the fact that I had to do it. It was just what it was. Now, some artists thanked me and were like, yes, thank you. I'll do it again. I'll keep doing it. I'll keep doing it. And they made that investment. Other artists were like, go to hell. You're a culture vulture. You're this, you're that. And it was negative experience. You know, it was pay to play. I kept being called pay to play and all that. And so eventually at the end, I just said, you know what? I'm tired of being known just for the pay to play. You know, it doesn't matter what good I do, they're always going to say, "Hey, this guy makes you sell tickets." So, luckily, the last few years, the last 4 or 5, say probably the last 6 years, I haven't made any artist sell tickets.
Wow, that's amazing, bro. If you're just tuning in, go ahead.
So that's where I'm at now. I stay away from it. I don't make any artists sell tickets. I don't even ask, and I just try to get artists paid and that's my my goal these days, you know. So, but yeah, we know. But I will say this: all those artists that sold tickets and you know were responsible for fueling the hip hop scene and all those shows for years.
Yeah.
So those people that you know did that and grinded out, those are the reasons. Those guys are a lot of the reasons why a lot of those fans got to see those headliners. Because if those guys weren't doing it, I probably wouldn't have been able to book some of those shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I might not have been able to do it as long. So I salute them right there.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of the legendary names that you had, not only in the Middle East stage, but just stages in general. I mean, I remember Kanye in Worcester. I remember Black Alicious at Sonia. Middle East, EPMD, Joe Budden. Oh, the names are endless. Rakim, Cannabis. Well, Cannabis was Western Front. Pete Rock.
And Harper's Ferry.
And Harper's Ferry, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, MOP, Mobb Deep. Mobb Deep was a very interesting night because I think that was the last time any of us would see Prodigy on a stage, if memory serves me correct. But what out of the 20 years, what was your favorite show experience, or has that yet to come?
I got a bunch. You know, Pete Rock versus DJ Premier. You know, battle on stage. First one.
Forgot about that one.
That one was incredible. Ghetto Boys, incredible.
Yeah.
Moral Technique in the beginning, incredible. Coca Nostra in the beginning, surprise visit from Everlast. That was great. Great experience. Yeah. I mean, Machine Gun Kelly at the Worcester Palladium. It's hard. I've done so many. It's hard to pull back each one.
Right.
You know, Rakim was dope. EPMD was great. I mean, KRS-One, which time? You know, coming up this Saturday. I mean, always great.
Yeah.
KRS-One.
Always.
You know what I mean?
Always. How many shows have you done up into? Do you know how many shows you've actually done up until this point?
I lost count a long time ago.
Is there? You've done so many dream shows. Is there a dream show that you have yet to produce of artists you would like to see on your stage that have not been there yet at all? And who are some of those names that you would still like to work with?
I mean, I've done them all. I've really done everybody. With the exception of like Eminem, you know what I mean? Like, or like, Nas, you know what I mean? Like those two I haven't done, but
Those are
everybody else
possibilities, though.
everybody else I've kind of been a part of in some form. You know what I mean? Like, I might not have booked it, but I promoted it. Like I did Wu-Tang. I've done The Roots. I've done a few others. Hold on, I'm sorry. I've done some big ones that I didn't necessarily book, but I was a part of. That those experiences are incredible too. So no,
If
I
you
don't think there's really anybody left that I would like that's not gigantic at this point.
So, yeah. Well, I was still. I guess I have a wish list. Rob Digger, I still would like to see. Jazzy Jeff, I'd like to see. I approach you about Naughty by Nature all the time. I think those are
Yeah, I would have liked
three.
to have done that.
That would have been a nice thing. If I was an upcoming promoter and really wanted to dive into this business, knowing that you've had so many decades of experience, what would be one of the first things you would tell me or any up and coming promoter that wanted to enter into this game for 2025 and beyond? What would you tell them?
Whew, I'd be like, be careful
Mm-hmm.
because it is a different ball game right now. You know what I mean? You got a lot of shit's expensive, and you got to have some money put away, to handle the swings of this shit because you might lose on one show and gain on another. It's tough. It's not like what it was when I was first coming out. Ours want a lot of money and it's a lot of risk. Venues are expensive in Boston, so you really got to be careful and be conservative. And if they want too much, you got to do your research. What the show is going to do. When last time they played, how many people did they do? Ask around. You got to really, really do your research on what this show is going to do realistically and safely. Because a lot of times, people in the beginning they think the show's way bigger than it is. Like, oh, we're going to do Royce to 5 Night at the Middle East. It's going to sell out. Well, no, it's not going to sell out. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to do 200-300 people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you overshoot it. So you got to be careful with that.
Has there ever been an artist that you would, do your due diligence on and really think that he, she, or they have peaceful vibes, and then when you see them in person, it is a totally different outcome? And when you deal with that adversity, when you see that adversity, how do you professionally deal with it as to opposed to personally dealing with it? Because I know the personal side of you, what you would have done, but how does the professional Ned handle situations of adversity?
Yeah, you got to defuse. You got to defuse the situation. You know what I mean? Like you can't. The headliner's being a jerk. You got to roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because the fans are there to see them. So like you have to keep the peace, and that's really what you got to do. You got to be the peacemaker. And I've made mistakes of not being the peacemaker, and it's cost me. So nowadays I try to be the peacemaker.
Can you give me an example, a time when just an artist was just totally out of pocket for whatever reason,
Sure.
and it really resonated with you to the point where I have to really think if I want to bring this person back, or even if you even brought that person back and it was a totally different outcome?
Talib Kweli.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, Talib Kweli had a meltdown on stage with the sound man. And,
yes, please share that story.
He got into it with the sound man and walked off the stage in a sold out show. Wow. And I had to calm everybody down and keep the show moving because we were about to have 500 people fucking riot. So, yeah, that was one of those scenarios where you had to keep the peace, and I did, and luckily the show went on and we were fine. But it was close call. It was a close call there for a second.
Did you ever get to say anything to Talib or?
Yeah, we talked on the phone. He called because him and the soundman kept going back and forth on Twitter days later, and then freaking Talib calls me and he's just telling me about the whole sound guy thing, and he's going off on the whole story and all this, and I listened, and I kept the peace, and then the conversation with the sound guy was about 2 seconds long. I said, "Hey, stop freaking twittering." He's like, "Okay, that's it." So I was like,
"Don't do that."
It was like, what a difference between the artist and the sound man's response.
We lost a very talented MC. I forgot how many years ago. Speaking on the Gifted Gab of Black Alicious.
Yep.
What was it like working with him and Chief XL when you brought them to Sonya? Because that was a memorable show.
Black Alicious was great. Unfortunately, Gifted Gab had been suffering some health issues since I ever
Yeah.
worked with him. He was kidney failure and pretty much legally blind.
Wow.
Yeah, he couldn't see for anything. So it was kind of sad to see him still have to be out there performing like that. I mean, I'm sure he liked it, but he was not in good condition. And
Wow.
but we made it work,
Yeah.
and we got lucky. So
He
lucky, cherish the times, the performances we had with him because he was a nice, super nice guy too.
Absolutely. Before we get into the label side of things and the marketing side of things, you have so much history. Have you ever thought about doing a documentary on your whole career?
Of
I'm
course I
I'm
have it.
serious.
Of course I have in my head. Realistically, I don't know how we would do that, but story's not over yet. Not done yet.
No,
So
it's not.
the
It,
documentary doesn't come to the end.
it would be fun just to really see that, just to for people like me who have personally been around you and have seen the growth and everyone you've worked with. I know the inside story, but it would still be just a beautiful package to see, to get the voices and the feedback of every single person you've done a show with, who is a who's who of names. It would just be a super dope thing. So I'm co-signing it. Please get it done, and I cannot wait to see it when that time comes. Aside from the live concert experience, you also really are an A&R marketer. You do your own content, graphics, designs, the whole nine yards. How important is it for the local scene more in general? Because you really work with a lot of great local MCs, some up and coming, some we've known forever. How important is it to you to really keep that connection going, to let people know that yes, we do these wonderful shows where we bring so and so from New York or California or Jersey or wherever, but our local home base is getting bigger and bigger by the second each year that goes by, and I want to make sure that you guys know that this city has talent too, and see what we're got going on. So speak on that
Yeah.
for those that are not familiar with the local scene here in Boston.
Yeah, New England hip hop scene is, I love it. You know what I mean? I love being from here. I love all the artists I work with. I think we got tons of talent here. It's just as, we got enough talent here as anything. We just lack the industry and the industry setup, the industry world of it. We don't have like major labels out here, and we don't got radio really out here that really pushes any of that stuff to give it the extra legs that other cities have. And so we struggle to get it out there like that, and we're also, um, we don't have like a set unique sound, New England. We kind of grab from everything. So I think that also is like, oh, what's the New England sound? Well, it's a mix of all things. It's very East Coast, obviously, very New York influence, but we
Yeah.
also got, rappers out here doing all types of music. So it's like it's not one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, all of New England, from Maine, Vermont, Connecticut, Mass, Rhode Island, what did I forget? Forget them all? New Hampshire. There's tons of talent in there, man. And I like everybody I work with. I like the music I make. So I kind of, I work with other artists outside of that, but I always kind of keep it New England based. When you hear an album that I've made, it's very New England based. It feels like a New
Yeah.
England record. And to me that's important because that's what makes us stand out from all the rest. It's because
Right.
that's who we are. You know what I mean? So I always like to keep that as the baseline.
Right. I had a conversation with Rex recently, and we was talking about Static Selecta, and I feel that you and Static really have transcended the producing game, because similar to him, you make albums and put a bunch of people on it, whether they're local or not, and I think Static is doing the same thing with his catalog and everything he's doing. Um, when you produce, and I didn't know that you were a producer for a long time. I always thought you had like a team of people making the beats. But when you actually produce tracks, where do you get your influences from? And who are some of your favorite producers that have helped you capitalize on the sound that you continue to do and will curate in the years to come?
Yeah, so like I'm more of a producer in the size like Rick Rubin. I don't make beats.
Okay.
So I will work with the beat makers or the producers and oversee the whole song. I come up with the concepts, I A&R it, I do all that. So I'm in that essence, I'm like that as a producer in more of a traditional music form. Hip hop, the
Right.
producer generally is the guy that makes the beat. But in this case, I'm like executive producer, whatever.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I just work, a lot of my recent projects. Archetype was the main producer. He made most of the beats, and then I had outside assistants from like Teddy Rockspin and who else? John Glass, a few others on the Worker Among Workers one. But I'm down to work with anybody. You know what I mean? So like I just like nowadays it's just like this. I take kind of the Gangstar method, which was like come up
Right.
with the concept first
Uh-huh.
in my head of what I want the song to be about, and then I'll have I kind of have the artist in mind, the lyricists, the rappers that I think could hit that concept, and then I'll find the beat or we'll make a beat to kind of fit that concept with those art. You know what I mean? So I kind of put it together that way, and that's how I do my thing.
In 2025, well, 2024 going into 25, we have a lot of great local MCs that are bursting out on the scene. In the last 3 to 4 years, who have been some of the local artists that you've really kept your eye on, just as a fan, or even someone you may want to work with, unless you already have it already in the first place?
Newer artists
Sure.
of the last how long?
Who?
How long? How long are we
In
going back?
the last 3 to 4 years, who have you seen that's
From New
really
England?
captured your eye? Yeah.
From New England.
Anyone, New England, yes.
Yeah. Okay. For newer artists, I'm out of Boston. Like new. I
Right.
like that dude Shay 617. Shay, he's good. Uh, Najee Johnny is really good. He's a newer artist. Um, those are like the two newer ones I like. I'm trying to. There's probably others I'm forgetting.
Mhm.
I think Token is a problem. I think like Token is just incredibly talented, skill wise. Um, who else? It's funny. I'm gonna pull up my list here.
That's fine. And that's gonna be my
Um,
next question
I
anyway
just
after you're
started a
done.
New England hip hop playlist.
Nice. Okay.
We'll have to get some stuff from you on there. Let's
Yes,
see
please.
who do we got here. Blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at all these. So who's new? I'm trying to see who's new.
Mhm.
So no one's like super new. Everyone else is kind of like been around for a while. So it's tough for me to say here. But I'd say those two that I just mentioned are like the newer artists. I think that have got some potential to do something.
Yeah. Not Najee is dope as ever. And same for Milkshot Benedict if he's tuning in. I love him
Yeah, I
just
know
as
him
much.
too. Yeah.
That guy is insane. I don't think I've told you this face to face. So I'm gonna say it now. You are one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast, because watching yours over the years has just been like, man, wait a second. So he's got Danny Boy, he just got a plethora of people that I grew up either listening to or just idolized from a distance. And I was like, well, if he can do it, man, let me do this. So thank you for the inspiration to do this podcast for the same reasons why you're doing it. Who's been your favorite guest that you've interviewed thus far, and why?
Sorry, I'm just sending this message real quick.
It's all good.
Um,
Look at it.
I
Always
think my
doing business.
recent
Ladies and
my
gentlemen. Yep.
recent one is Apathy. I thought that interview came out really good. That was a really good in-depth one. Danny Boy, obviously House of Pain was incredible. Ill Bill was a great one. Slain. I've had so many. I've been lucky.
Mhm.
So yeah, the ability to tell those stories and walk through those podcasts and interviews and all that was that's been a really great experience. It's been keeping me up on things and keeping my face out there. So I've enjoyed doing the podcast for the last 4 years. Jesus, been that long?
Um, has it really been? That is crazy. At a time at the Middle East, I was doing security over there right before I left to move to Kansas City. We suffered the pandemic, and I know that was a huge blow for you because you had to cancel a whole bunch of great shows. I think the last one we saw was Cameron right before the pandemic started. And that was a great way to go out because I never saw Cameron live, and I was truly impressed. During the pandemic, obviously you had to find other ways to stay relevant and stay active within your brand and everything. What were some of the ways that you stayed active and still letting people know that you existed, even though you couldn't do live shows for that time?
Well, that was the podcast kept me active.
Hmm.
So that's what I did. I was just, that was my main thing. And then I also did digital marketing for people and whatnot. So, that was where it was, that's what kind of kept me going through COVID when I couldn't do shows. So I was doing
Hmm.
helping artists with their rollouts and all that other stuff. So that's where I was at.
Please send me local music or even music that's not from local artists if you get a chance.
Yeah,
I'd
just
love to
check out the
always.
New England hip hop. Check out the New England hip hop playlist on Spotify.
That's what I was going to talk about next. Actually, I see the Leeds list, and now you have the New England list a lot. How do I'm assuming you have a Spotify page, and a lot of stuff gets sent to you. But how do you curate your Leeds list every single time for the masses to see? Do you listen to it, or is it just word of mouth, or people pay you to possibly promote their stuff?
No, you can't. You can't take money for the playlist thing. You're not supposed to,
Okay,
at least. I'm sure people do.
right.
But I basically, I just follow enough artists and have my release radar always lets me know what's going on. So like I just check in with release radar and I check in with a couple blogs and see what's new and I just pick through it. So and that's how I do it every week. I've been doing that now for like 4 or 5 years and we've got a good following on that.
Yeah,
But
indeed,
yeah, that's
indeed.
just that's the DJ in me, you know what I mean? The DJ first in me, like that, is like searching for that new record. So it's
Were
instead
you
of
were
mixtapes,
you ever?
yeah, I was a DJ. It was mixtapes back then. Now it's playlists.
I would love to see you. I think you should DJ this Saturday. Just do a quick 20-minute set this Saturday, so people know
Maybe
you
I
still
will.
got it. That would be dope. Um, so speaking of this Saturday, you're gonna culminate 20 years by bringing back probably the most time-honored live MC still in this game for 40 years now, or whatever it is. To work with KRS-One one time is a blessing, but you constantly bring him back. And I want to take it back to when KRS was on the stage and he stopped his show to actually say that when I came in, the promoter greeted me.
Yeah.
He brought me in. He was there to introduce himself and everything. And not many promoters do that. To hear accolades like that from such a grand artist as KRS, surely
That's a
I
highlight.
know it makes you feel good, but it also really recognizes real hard work. Someone from of that magnitude to take time to say this person greeted me at the door. It is dope. Look at him. He's blushing right now, ladies and gentlemen. He's blushing. He's
It was just
blushing,
so
but it's all
funny. It was just so funny because I know what he's saying because a lot of times promoters are like big Live Nation and like these other venues that there's not really an
yeah,
independent promoter. It's just like what I mean. It's just who this big company booked it, and that was with me Leeds. It was like I was a one man show. I shout out Jake. He used to help run my shows too, Jake Milo. But it's
yeah.
pretty much a two man operation. Most of the time it was a one man operation, and that was just kind of the personalized effect of it, and I've just kind of had to put a face to Leedz Edutainment because a lot of people thought that Leedz Edutainment was just this big business. They didn't really know what it was. Never mind a white
Mm.
guy. So it was like, it was like I just had to put a face to the name because I don't think people really understood what it was. And that's what I've been
Yeah.
doing.
So this Saturday,
Yes, 20 years. KRS,
this is going
Blastmaster.
to be and I really want to try to fly down there, but I don't have any money to come down there. This would be a memorable experience. For those that have never seen KRS-One live in such an intimate setting as the Middle East, in a few short words, tell people what they're going to experience this Saturday evening when he
Hip
hits
hop
that.
and hip hop in the purest form, stripped down, raw MCing energy, no frills, no gimmicks, just fucking MCing at its finest in its purest form.
Man, get your tickets now, ladies and gentlemen. Every time this man comes, the show does sell out. So if you don't get the tickets now, by Friday evening, you probably won't be able to get any, and there'll be no tickets at the
Saturday,
door
Saturday.
Saturday. No, I'm saying I said by Friday the tickets will be gone, is what I said. So you want to get them now. What can I ask next? What
We're
is
gonna wrap up.
next?
Can we wrap up soon?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah, we got. I'm gonna give you like maybe 5 more minutes. What
Yeah.
is next for you for the upcoming year and beyond to celebrate 21? What can we expect
Well,
from you?
I'm kind of seeing what's out there. I don't have any really set plans. I don't. I take the work when I get it. I don't. I'm still working on new music, still doing the podcast, still doing the playlist. I help out on shows when I can. That's just see what else is happening. Got a couple things maybe in the works. We'll see, but just keeping it moving, wherever I can.
Real.
It's a lot of it's out of my control, so I just kind of deal with my situation, the circumstances I've been
Right.
dealt.
One last thing I'm going to say.
Keep it hip hop.
One last thing I want to say on a more personal note, as someone that was a huge alcoholic way back in the day and has really changed my whole life around with that, I want to congratulate you staying sober for how long has it been now? What, 16 years?
15 years. 15 years.
15, going on 16. I really want to say big up and congratulations on that. I know that is very, very huge. And it's made you a better person, obviously. And but for those that are going through being an alcoholic and trying to quit that habit, what is the advice you would give to someone who is trying to kick that monkey and really, really try to turn their life around from a life of alcohol for however long they've done it?
Ask for help. You know what I mean? First off, ask for help. No one can really do this thing alone. Go to meetings, whatever they are. Find it, and ask for help when you're there. You know what I mean? And you'll get the help you need. But if you don't say anything, no one's gonna do anything. So, go to meetings, ask for help, stay sober, and keep going. It's a long term thing. It's not a short term thing, and you'll get better, and your life will get better.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this man does have to go because he's got a plethora of things to do. But I just want to say, first and foremost, on a personal note, thank you for being a great friend to me, allowing me the opportunity to perform on your stages and host these great shows. Thank you for little brother, by the way. I'm glad that was finally able to happen.
In the back? See that in the back?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yeah, there
by all of them.
What a show that was. Thank you to Ponte and Rapper Big Pooh and yourself. Keep prospering, brother. I know you're going to do a lot of great things for the up and coming years, and we'll get to work together again, hopefully soon. But I want to thank you for taking the time to celebrate this moment, and congratulations on 20 years, ladies and gentlemen. This Saturday, I can't say it enough, the almighty Blastmaster KRS-One will be at the Middle East, Cambridge, Massachusetts, Central Square. Doors open at 8 o'clock. There's going to be some great local openers. You don't want to miss that. Get there early because I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a great night, and I can't wait to see it. Record the whole damn show if you can for me, please. Thank you again, Leedz. I appreciate you, Ned, so much. This is Ned. Tell them how they can find you on social media, and that's how we'll end it.
Hey, check us out at Leedz, LeedZEDU on social media. You can check us out at LeedsEdutainment.com.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you do it. All right, y'all. Rap Sheet Podcast is out of here. We will see you all again next Tuesday. Leedz, my brother, thank you so much. And you have a wonderful afternoon, sir. Good luck this Saturday. I wish you nothing but success.
Thank you, brother. Talk soon.
All right, man. Blessings. Yeah. That's how we do it, ladies and gentlemen. Rap Sheet Podcast is in the books. Leedz Edutainment was just here. That's my brother, Ned. This Saturday evening, KRS-One, Middle East. Be there. It is going to be off the chain. See y'all real soon, and God.